It's way too much damage.
Oh, and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, he gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every scene
Our
does.
favorite phrase. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament 2021. This is an upper bracket match up in the second round between Shayfe and Sloaters that was actually rescheduled from last Thursday to right now. So get strapped in. This is going to be a fun one. Commentating this match will be me, Clean Phil, along with Romulus. How are you doing, Rom?
Hey, Clean, I'm doing good, thank you. We're in for a really good match today. We got up Shayfe, our 8th seed, versus Sloaters, our 25th seed. We were able to chat with our runners real quick before the match today. I was able to talk with Sloaters about how he's feeling, what he's hoping from this seed. And he was saying he's hoping for some powerful skills early on, particularly Dash and Bash. Very respectable. And that he's going to be playing on controller, but he does do KBM or hybrid for a couple certain tricks if needed. And we're asking him about what he thinks about facing up against Shayfe. He is a little nervous going up against Shayfe. You know, he understands that Shayfe is better on paper, but you know, we'll see how it's going to go. So what about Shayfe, Clean?
Yeah, the nerves are on both fronts here today because Shayfe is aware of anything that can happen in this rando tournament. We've already seen a good few upsets here, so Shayfe is, you know, not taking Sloaters lightly in any sense. He knows he has a lot of experience in Super Metroid and other randomizers, so he's looking to essentially use these nerves to kind of push him to perform better, essentially not having too much of sloppy movement and just hoping to have a seed that relies on some good execution so that he can always you know, it's just another day for rando with Shayfe. But yeah, I think this is going to be quite a fun one.
Indeed, this should be a very good one. This is one of our last two remaining matches in the upper bracket round 2. We're going to get our other one for you guys tomorrow. But yeah, this should be a definitely good race. Clean, what are you hoping to see at the start of this one?
I think a lot of people kind of hate on the, you know, the wall jump sea flame breakage siege, which yes, it has potential for being very slow ones, but I think with the right skill set, maybe like a quick nice glide and double jump as well. Like the air stalling is just so nice for Ori, just being able to move around the world very nicely. And I feel like this, you know, stuff like that should be exciting for our runners. And I guess the age-old question, you know what, we do the first pickup too often. Rom, what's the third pickup going to be?
Ooh, the third pickup, I'm betting a nice 13 experience. I don't know why 13, but you know, we'll see. Our runners are off to the races here. Shayfe on your left and Sloaters on your right, as they're going to head over and collect their first few pickups on their way to collect Sign, who is pretty important throughout the rest of the run. We do get a Keystone as our first pickup there. Yeah,
Sign is very, very important to continue our trek on using just a way that Ori can attack. Sign isn't really put into the logic in any way. It's just there that we have to go because it's essentially a skill location. And doing a race without actually ever attacking would be, yeah, not the biggest thing in the world. I feel like might be some troubles there, but looks like a nice energy cell actually starting out. So that's exciting. 2 energy start is very, very fun. And we'll collect our sign and then use a keybind called Alt-R, which we essentially use to essentially head back to the start immediately. So we can kind of shave off some nice time to essentially kind of a reset back to start function there.
Getting that second energy there at the very start of the run is pretty nice. That'll allow our runners to have a little more comfort when it comes to placing safety saves. Should help reduce a little bit of painful deaths where we lose a lot of progress. But our runners are going to go grab a couple keystones here, which will turn out to be charge jump, actually. That's a very nice skill to have at the start.
Well, that was our third pickup. It looks like we have a fun charge jump start, which is very, very nice. The verticality is off the charts. And so I think just getting that out of the way is very nice. When we get to those areas like Grotto, Grove, and whatnot on the right side, they won't have to ever worry about skipping pickups because it's like locked behind verticality. So that's very nice. Actually, interesting divergence already. Shayfe has 2 keystones. If he wants to, can head into the main glades area. It says, no, I'm actually going to go into Blackroot Burrows, and looks like Shayfe is going to follow behind. Very nice.
Yes, both our runners heading into Blackroot. This is a mandatory area that we'll need to collect one of our trees for the rest of the run. And getting it out of the way early is very respectable. We have charge jump, which makes a lot of this area pretty safe and easy to get through. One concern that the runners might have is ability points coming through this area. Since we do need ability points to level up in the middle of cutscenes like we just saw on Sloater's side. However, looks like they should be pretty good in terms of experience.
Yeah, with how kind of a leveling up in Ori, like it doesn't take a lot of XP in the beginning to level up and get more ability points. So these slimes are really nice to give them a good few levels, as well as just kind of refilling health and energy because they do still have 3 health, and so it's a little bit of kind of careful movement. Shayfe there has to take only 1 hit on the spikes to get through this area of the main Blackroot Burrows, but can use this kind of orb that we grabbed earlier to open up and can finish up this Blackroot Burrows area.
Yeah, and we're going to be heading over to our very first skill tree. This is going to be where we normally find Dash in our vanilla playthroughs of the game. We're going to need to visit 10 total skill trees throughout the world of Nibel. And what's notable about this is every 3rd tree, 6th, and 9th tree, we will get a hint for one of our dungeon key locations. You can see them grayed out on the tracker above our map stone there in the middle. We're hoping that we're going to find either a hint for the Water Vein or the Sunstone, since we're going to be needing both of those keys. But we could very well get a Gumon Seal hint, which would be most of the time useless for our runners.
Yeah, so we don't need to go to Fallen Ruins. It does not have a skill tree, but Ginzo tree does have the Bash tree, a little bit of treeception there. And the Sunstone we just need because that's got our final escape, so we can actually get out of Nibel and free the forest, which we kind of do in a backwards order, but, it's fine. Looks like... Oh, no! Sloaters accidentally fell down in this platform area, so has to retrek, so that's a little bit of a time loss there. But luckily, nothing too crazy like a big death here or there. Just have to carry this orb back up.
Yeah, not a big deal, but a little bit of a bummer having to go through that again. Just kind of feels bad having to do that a second time. Meanwhile, we did see 100 XP behind Dash Crushers, which could give our runners a hint that Dash might be located a little bit later in the logic chain. Doesn't always mean that, but there might be a lower chance of us seeing Dash throughout our playthrough here. And Shayfe is going to head over to this Boulder Escape / Indiana Jones area, where he's going to find another keystone and charge jump very carefully over top of these other crushers to get some more out-of-logic checks in this area, but he will be able to grab the Blackroot teleporter, which will be very nice when he has to come back here later.
Yeah, the teleport is huge for kind of traversing through, and there's also like you said, some kind of teleporter pickups as well throughout the map that we can use to kind of get access to more of the different sides of the map. Had some Frankie troubles because he wants to keep that Frankie next to the boulder alive, so that in potential we might have to use that Frankie later on to get to the grenade tree, which is in lower Blackroot Burrows. And it looks like after this, Shayfe is done with kind of the main BRB area. We'll probably head into main glades. That's a lot of experience behind that boulder. Okay, that is another kind of interesting tell. We put XP later on in the logic. It has higher values, so that might be an interesting tell there for Stomp or Dash there.
Yes, that's some good information for our runners. Shayfe, being a very seasoned veteran of Ori Randomizer, will know what to do with that information. He does collect an ability cell there at our fake flippers check, which is also out of logic, but another useful informational check more than anything. And Shayfe's going to collect another keystone, another 2 keystones rather, and he could take the route to go into Spirit Caverns here on the left. I imagine at the very least he might open the door. And he also has the option to go down towards Wall Jump Tree. Looks like that's where he's going to head for now. However, he does not have a mapstone to put into this mapstone pedestal down here in Glades. He instead chose to put it in near Blackroot.
Yeah, luckily that does really matter for how map zones work. That they're essentially progressive. The first map tone at any pedestal will reward you with the same pickup. So kind of no change there with how you get that done. And so Shayfe is also kind of Sloaters actually finished up with this Black area as well, and might be just joining Shayfe into the Glades area. I like the choice of saving Spirit Caverns for last because it has a good tell of where we might need to go after this. Because we still need to get access to the right side of the map in certain ways. It could be some plant breakage on our horizon, as well as maybe more energy. We already got 1, so there might be a 3rd or a 4th on the way as well. And, oh, okay, well, there's 1 out of 3 keys. There's the one we need, so that's not a problem.
That is a really nice find. Normally we would wait to get a hint for where that key might be. However, Shayfe finding it now is really, really nice. It's one fewer thing he has to worry about later in the seed. It's very comfy, and I'm sure that Sloaters will also find that when he heads down that way. Also having Charge Jump, that's a pickup you never really skip when you're down here with Charge Jump. And on the right, actually, it looks like Sloaters might be dipping into Spirit Caverns before going down to the Wall Jump Tree. We're going to get some new information over here.
There's just been so many keystones in this early part of the section. Also a Mega Energy, which is another interesting potential there. They could open the... Oh, and I like this. Sloaters immediately taking this to Gladeser. Oh, well, might be opening the door and saving it for later, but he can definitely use that right away to get access if he ever needs to come back here. And, oh, okay, finds Grenade as well. So that is Plant Break as well as 2 out of 3 for Grenade jumps. Okay, this Spirit Caverns is being very interesting right now.
Yeah, these are some really nice finds from both of our runners. Having Grenade at the start is very nice, just to be able to check all those blue plants as we go around. Plus, like you said, if we are able to find Climb, that'll give our runners access to some of the fastest movement in the game with Grenade jumps. That'll be very, very nice. Well, on the right, Sloaters is going to head into the Valley entry area down here. He's going to be able to check this plant for a nice ability cell, as well as a couple more pickups if he decides to venture all the way up to the experience at the top. I don't know if he's able to quite actually get there with this moveset, so he's just going to head over and move towards the teleporter instead.
Yeah, this is a situation where wall interaction it becomes like much more useful than we give it credit for. Wall interaction just allows for so many more things. Wall interaction could actually be what gives Shayfe access to Death Gauntlet via the 4 energy door to the right of the spawn location, because while he can put the energy into the door, without any wall interaction, he can't actually make it there.
That's true. And if we're able to find Climb, that gives us both wall interaction and grenade jumps, which would be very spicy. But we see an ability cell on our Charge Flame tree. Both our runners collecting it simultaneously. However, it is worth noting that Shayfe is 1 tree up from Sloaters, having already visited the wall jump tree.
That should also be our first clue, but because of the Shayfe menu, the menuing that Shayfe did to kind of do some blind movement, I don't know if I was able to catch exactly what the clue was, but it doesn't really matter for the first part at least. So it looks like both runners are going to be following this little path with the pull of this lever, and we'll be heading into Spider Sack.
Yeah, this is probably the intended path of the seed, given we have checked most everything else that we're able to, and there's going to be a number of pickups that we're able to check here on Shayfe's side and Sloaters once he manages to get up there, including this vault here with that Mega Energy left over from earlier, as well as this grenade check here. So Shayfe's going to be able to be very thorough in this area, a little bit more so than Sloaters, unless Sloaters decides to go for an energy glitch to open up this progression vault, as we like to call it.
Yeah, very known for having progression behind 4 energy, just because of the way that Logic places things behind a big set of requirements here. But both runners are kind of following each other's footsteps, and yeah, pretty much this actually kind of is really the only way they can go, not just the intended, because of, again, that lack of wall interaction is restricting them in a good way from the rest of the map. So Sloaters is looking like already going to skip this pickup that Shayfe is taking some time to get into, and it's just 15 experience, so nothing too big there. Oh, okay, so interesting situation. Sloaters actually alt-Rs out of the spider sack area. This charge jump to get from where Shayfe is to this the spider sack is very... Oh man, he gets it, nice. That is very, very tricky. That's a very, very interesting time. You can't have a full charge jump. It's kind of have to be like, you have to move while you jump as well. So that was very, very nice from Shayfe there.
Yeah, excellently done. Nice show of execution on his side. He's going to be able to continue here into the Grove area, while Sloaters is instead going to have to do some previously traversed areas on Shayfe's side, heading down towards wall jump area. But we will be able to see Sloaters put in a second mapstone over here. That could very well have our progression for all we know. Nah, it's just experience. Never mind.
Yeah, nothing too crazy there. Shayfe is just opting to go ahead and activate the Swamp TP now, saying because we do use this teleporter a good bit in the run, especially when it comes to the final escape. So having this activated now is definitely good for later on. And, you know, it's interesting that Ginzo's like kind of already in logic. We have some insane verticality and the water vein and the access to get over here. So interestingly enough, we could just say head right into Ginzo right now.
That is true. That is something our runners absolutely could do. Without wall interaction, it might be a little bit more difficult, but charge jump is a very powerful skill. Wouldn't surprise me if one of them decided to take the dip into Ginzo. However, one thing you want to avoid when you're doing an early Ginzo is having to come back for potentially a dig for Sunstone later if we get a hint that Sunstone is in Ginzo. So they'll have to probably check most everything in Ginzo if that's what they decide to do. Meanwhile, Sloaters does find his water vein, activates his wall jump tree. He is on tree parity with Shayfe.
And we saw the clue was that the Gumon seal is in Horu. Well, that's nice. There it is. And because we already have the water vein, we know that the Sunstone can't be in Forlorn because of the Gumon seal being in Horu. So that's already kind of limiting the terrible locations that our Sunstone could be hiding. So that's not bad.
That is very nice indeed. Shayfe's going to be able to do some more checks over here. He's going to dip down. Well, he's going to take a quick death, but with the invincibility frames there, after you respawn from a death, no problem at all. He's going to make his way over those spikes and collect a 4th energy. That's a good milestone there. He's going to be able to check a number of 4 energy doors all throughout these starting areas, including one down in Lower Grotto.
Yeah, we actually have both interesting things from both sides. So Shayfe is going ahead and using some zombie Oris with the many ability cells that we already have racked up in this seed to get out of this area with these spikes that do 3 damage. Having a little bit of trouble trying to see if he can get out here without needing to do an extra save, but it looks like he may need to. Meanwhile, Sloaters is taking use of what he did earlier, opening up the Blazer, and just awarded with some experience. But I like the thing there with going back for it. You already put in the energy, might as well double down, actually get the pickup.
Yeah, especially since he was already in this area, makes a lot of sense to come down here and get that pickup. But only being some experience, not a big deal at all. Shayfe's going to be able to check the Death Gauntlet area, which is in Logic, and he's going to be able to check just about everything over here. He's also going to open up this breakable floor here into the dirty water to check this. It is a mapstone. That's pretty interesting. However, Shayfe, living on with 0 life, actually, finds also Spirit Light efficiency. This is a nice, dense little area.
Yeah, we have some interesting kind of finds here. So Spirit Light efficiency helps get way more ability cells and XP with these pickups. And now we already have up to 7. Now potentials for sense plays could be on the table, as well as just getting ultra defense as quick as possible, because Shayfe is continuing to take just so much damage in this area. Only getting 1 additional health cell so far. and it just has needing to use it to its fullest potential, and there is rewarded with another one. Nice.
Very nice. Getting an extra health cell, very, very handy. He's not going to be able to get out from this dirty water since he does not have water or wall interaction. He does have water interaction. It just requires taking a lot of damage. He's going to go back for that health cell, though. Now he's going to glitch this bridge open on your left side, and he's going to check where we normally get water vein, and he's going to go down into a pretty dense area here in Grotto, hoping to find his next piece of progression. And on the right, Sloater's going to be trailing a little bit behind, doing some of the same checks that we already saw Shayfe doing, but not too far behind, as they still are on tree parity.
Yeah, that's right. So it's essentially Sloaters is kind of caught back up after getting that wall jump tree, is heading through Grove. Might see some interesting, the way that Sloaters routes this area. Might see some checks that Shayfe did not check. For example, we have the outer swamp loop area, as well as the entire Ginzo tree. There, I mean, I think we have more than enough keystones to make it at least to the Bash tree. So if we choose to, we could make it all the way up there.
Ooh, and there's a Forlorn teleporter find on Shayfe's side. That's interesting. However, we know that Gumon Seal is in Horu, which is, of course, a very late game area, and so it's pretty unlikely that Forlorn might have some progression that we need. But Forlorn does have a nice, quick, easy, accessible mapstone altar, as well as a convenient spot to duplicate some keystones if they need it. So that's just a nice little comfort find, but hopefully will not be required.
Yeah, we're actually getting some interesting fun facts here. So what Shayfe did with the invincible frames is obviously not in logic, but not glitching out the lasers in the Gumo Grotto area is also not in logic. And it's not actually, you're not actually able to get those lasers out of the way with just charge jump. So everything that Shayfe is doing is technically not in logic. So there's actually a really strong argument that where Sloaters is in the Ginzo area / outer swamp loop is actually probably where the progression is lying.
That is a very good point to bring up. We have noticed actually some of those plants that Shayfe was breaking had really high experience counts, when we already had found Grenade kind of early on in the seed. So that's a very good point to bring up. Sloaters is going to head over towards the Ginzo tree with his water vein. We'll see if he decides to enter or not. He is going to put the key into the tree. We'll see if he decides to go in or if he continues in the outer swamp loop. He is going to go in, actually.
Ooh, the early immediate Ginzo. I really, really like this. This is obviously extremely dangerous. These spikes and no wall interaction at all it's really, really spicy. But with charge jump, you are able to utilize these spikes to do 2 damage and do essentially kind of some kind of interesting damage boost, especially in this teleporter room coming up for Sloaters up here. But I'm really, really liking this play to say I have the key and I have some really great verticality. Let's head in here.
Yeah, and he's been doing a really good job of avoiding taking as much damage as he can. He is only on 3 health. He's actually going to set up to do a zombie Ori here to help traverse this scary portal section. Being low on health, doing the zombie play to help make this a little easier. This is a great show of what he is capable of doing. Nicely done, Sloaters.
Ooh, he even gets past that. So that is crazy how he was able to pull that off, and really, really excited for that. Meanwhile, Shayfe is, oh, nice, first try micro ledge to get that energy cell. That is not easy in the slice as well. So both these are pulling off some really nice execution there, which I like. And okay, there's our wall interaction. Finally, 20 minutes in, we get it.
We also did find clean water on the side of Shayfe. He's going to be able to check everything that's underwater, most everything that's underwater, without needing to take any damage. It'll also help for the final escape, not needing to worry about needing extra health cells. That's a nice find as well. Opens up a lot more for Shayfe to be able to check.
Very clean, blessed indeed. I'm also wondering, does this are we having a Valley long swim in logic now? Interesting.
I think
potentially
you're right. I think that does. Yeah.
We may have to wait to see how the intention was to get to actually the lower grotto area, which might come up for Sloaters depending on if Ginzo had anything useful. We have a 4th energy and another health cell for Sloaters as well. We'll have to see what he finds on the Bash tree. It's well, it's Charge Flame. There's our other form of blue breakage.
Very nice. Charge Flame doesn't really do all that much right now. That grenade doesn't do, but it will be nice for the final escape, potentially, if our runners do not find either Stomp or Climb in order to break one of the walls, a couple of the walls in that area. But as we see now here, Shayfe is doing some more checks in the Glades area now that he has that clean water find, as well as Grenade. We'll see if he decides to go up to do Valley Long Swim. That is a definite possibility. Oh my gosh, there's double jump.
Okay, we're getting some really, really nice skills throughout. We're still not really seeing what the real progression is. We're kind of, I guess we skipped a step, but that's all right. But we're getting some really nice skills for Shayfe despite all that. Like, he can do a lot of, if not pretty much all of this right side of the map. So that's got to feel good. Just kind of some nice movement here. And you can also check, you know, some dirt water pickups like this one in Death Gauntlet. And again, both of them are racking up a lot of ability cells as well, which is kind of questioning, do you go for Ultra Defense right away? Because we are only still sitting on just 5 HP. Or do you kind of make a play for Sense, since so much of the map is kind of open at this point?
That is a very good point to bring up. Both options of Sense as well as Ultra Defense are good options depending on where our Sunstone might be or where our progression might be located. So, you know, we could see our runners go for either of those options, or they could choose to just hang on to all these ability cells for now and kind of delay that choice to keep their options open as long as possible. Looks like Shayfe is going to dip over into the Swamp Stomp Tree area. He's going to break open this blue floor here. Just some experience here on the Drainless XP, and does some very nice movement to get out of that area. It's not too easy to do. He's putting on a show here.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. Just heading over to the Stomp Tree area. It's a nice tree to kind of get out of the way for this far right area, and he has pretty much everything to do it, so really, really well played. I've been like this. He's actually also going to swim. This is kind of a nice decision as well. We're still looking for key items such as left side progression. We don't really have it yet. So I like the decision to continue to be thorough here. Still looking for, you know, kind of later parts of the seed, what we could be finding. He's circling his keystones. He'd like keystones as well. Probably because he wants to have the 2 for the Swamp Tree coming up, as well as the 4 for the Ginzo Tree.
Yeah, and not only those, he's going to need 4 more as well once he gets up to Sorrow. Most likely, unless he's able to find the Sorrow teleporter. It's always a good idea to have extra keystones just in case. Like, for example, if our Sunstone is really late into Misty, we might need 4 more keystones. But who knows? He's going to be checking this mapstone here, and just some more experience. He's going to quickly reload his file to help save a little bit of time. Meanwhile, Sloaters is going to be diving into Grotto as well, where we know our wall jump is located.
Yeah, it looks like maybe potentially the possible progression here we had was just to get that health cell up in Ginzo so that they could actually come down here from the other way. That's actually kind of a really interesting way that the game kind of had our logic play out here. Ooh, a nice mega health. I enjoy that. So, but again, these XP pickups are being very, very interesting for runners, and I definitely think they're both at least at the level of knowledge that they're keeping up with it.
Yes, that definitely should be something that our runners are taking note of, these high experience values. It's also giving them a lot more progress in their ability point count, which will be very nice for leveling up to Sense Ultra Defense. We actually see Sloaters on the right making the dip down into the dirty water and also not being able to get out. And we see Shayfe collecting his 5th tree here in Swamp. He just needs 1 more, and then we very well might get the hint as to where the Sunstone is.
That's right. Oh, is he going? Why is he do grenade redirect? Or he tried it once. He said, "Okay, that was just for show." Oh man, grenade redirects are just a whole nother level of weird tricks. So he says once, and then he opts. I'm all right. So yeah, like you said, I believe kind of trying to reach into Shayfe's mind here. What he might think the potential here is. A Ginzo play is looking really nice right about now. And he does actually have the ability to continue further. He has wall interaction, which can actually get him up into the second part of the Ginzo area, which is very, very dense, has a lot of good pickups.
Yeah, and that area very well could have our next piece of progression. We didn't see Sloaters actually go up that way, so Shayfe might give us that opportunity to see what's there. He's actually going to pull off a trick called Game Storage, I believe. Or, nope, never mind, he's just placing a save in front of Ginzo Tree. He's going to do some checks here in Outer Swamp instead.
Yeah, I believe he still has 3 keystones. He's not, I think he's kind of half not betting that he's wants to try to find a keystone in Ginzo and to avoid a little bit of a key dupe there. That's not it's just mainly annoying. He gets his 4th keystone, that's very nice, but as well this Swamp Blueberry has a good few checks, and with the addition of that verticality, he can feel pretty good about this area, just being able to clean it all out.
And nice find of Swamp Teleporter right kind of after the Swamp Teleporter. Thanks, game.
Yeah, we already needed that, but that's fine. Get some interesting checks on Sloaters, and I wasn't sure if we actually had the very lower left grotto area with that energy checked on Shayfe's side, because he did have not a lot of energy at the beginning part when he came to this area. But looks like, yes, a Ginzo play from Shayfe has begun as well. I'd be interested to see how far he goes up. I feel like with the position he's in, he's definitely going to continue it at least to the second key door. We'll see how far he goes.
That's true. If he wants to go above that second keystone door, he's going to have to sacrifice 4 more keystones to the cause. And that might not be advisable, considering how he's going to need a number of them later on in the seed. Meanwhile, Sloaters on your right side of the screen will be finding his wall interaction here in just a moment. He does realize he does not have wall interaction for that energy cell up there. But now, after finding it, he's going to be able to go up there and get that pickup if he decides he wants to do that.
Yeah, very, very nice. I could definitely just like see their minds that while they have some nice skill sets, at some point you just want wall interaction. It's just so nice. And at some point, we're just so used to always having it. When you don't have it, some of the capabilities that you have to do are crazy, such as having to look at some weird micro ledges, as well as just some, more often than not well-known strats to get certain places. So good on both of them for tackling that part of the seed up very, very well. Sloaters 1 cycles the mini boss, not standing a chance. It was dead before it even started. That's oh man,
very nice. And it's just some experience for his troubles. He's going to continue on here towards his double jump tree, as Shayfe is going to be approaching his bash tree, where we know Charge Flame is. And we have to wonder, what are we going to do about left side access? Our runners could potentially go through the valley entry area and take some damage boosts to get up where we would normally need bash. And we actually see on Shayfe's side, there is no Sunstone hint on tree 6. That is a bummer.
Yep, so it looks like Shayfe is also opting to continue up through Ginzo. I like this because he doesn't know where the Sunstone is. Could be in Ginzo later on. If I might see a Ginzo TP requirement. And yeah, as you said, we had some weird damage boosts, but at first we need to we don't even have anything. We don't have any left side teleporters, and we don't have bash or stomp. The choice to continue to be thorough is probably the right one. Oh, and Shayfe finds Glide, which is not one of the 3 things I said, but that's really, really nice.
Indeed. And also on the right side, we did see Sloaters level up to get Sense in the purple tree using all of his ability points. So he'll have a little bit of an easier time, hopefully scouting out where that next piece of progression will be. That could help him to make up a little bit of ground here as he is approaching this Death Gauntlet area.
Shayfe is determined. He wants to get this Charge Flame redirect from this Mortar Worm. It's kind of finicky angle because of the way that these shots work with gravity. They kind of speed up a lot as they continue to fall. But Shayfe is determined to kind of keep it going and kills it. He says, "I'm done here." So we're heading up here through this second Keystone room, and there's our Sunstone. Shayfe play to continue to be thorough paid off, and there is there's bash too. What's happening?
Oh my god! Okay, Ginzo paying off in spades for Shayfe there. Holy cow! Those are 2 monumental finds. Shayfe is going to be super comfy for the rest of this seed. Looks like he's going to go back down into Blackroot for potentially another tree. Wow, he might be getting close to go mode here, actually. What do you think, Clean?
I feel like he is. I feel like everything so many things just happened at once. He found his Bash, Glide, and Sunstone. So he's done with the seed. He's immediately saying, I'm going to lure Frankie. So everything, it went from 0 to 100, I feel like, this seed, real quick. Unfortunate thing for Sloaters. He's already been through Ginzo. And so we'll have to see how long it takes him to take that retrek to head back into the tree. And sadly, Sense will not be as useful for that area because all the pickups in Ginzo are just right there.
Yeah, that could be very bad on Sloater's side. Like you said, if those are our only progression items, Sloaters is going to take a while before finding those. Meanwhile, Shayfe on the left did a very beautiful Frankie lure over top of those crushers. He's going to open up his ability menu with 17 ability points. As he's going to go down towards his grenade tree. Looks like he just might be pushing for trees just to, just to try and finish up this seed as quick as he can.
Yeah, so many things happened for Shayfe, but he definitely knew that everything was in his play at this point to finish out the seed. And I wouldn't be surprised at this point as he says, I'm just going to go ahead and get all the way up to Ultra Defense, because he technically, yes, does not need anything else to complete the game. He's all good, and yeah, it's going to continue to head through that blue tree to get potentially that Ultra Defense in the way. Meanwhile, Sloaters is doing some swamp swims, which again, I still like those checks from him, but after this stomp tree, it's very, very key. Where will Sloaters go after this? Because essentially the only area that Shayfe has on Sloaters that Sloaters did not check is Upper Ginzo.
Yeah, and that's definitely not an area you want to have to revisit after already getting up there and collecting your tree. So yeah, this could be pretty bad on the side of Sloaters. However, we might see him decide to go for a different means of finding progression. It's hard to say what he's thinking right now. But he's going to head over here towards his stomp tree.
Yeah, and looks like Shayfe is now going to make that left side trek. He has to do another Frankie lure to stomp this peg here in the valley entry. But knowing Shayfe, he should not have too much of a massive problem with that. I don't know. There's not much in the way of problems for Shayfe anymore. Everything got solved with those 3 big pickups in Ginzo. Really, pretty much, this is kind of, I don't know. This is we're looking at as kind of like a timing here for the finish line at this point. Meanwhile, Sloaters is kind of doing more checks that we've already seen Shayfe do, and yes, we'll find double jump, so that's very nice. Going to be very nice for Sloaters. But after this, yes, the key thing is, where will Sloaters go after this?
That's true. There's probably a number of places he's thinking, can I go here? Is this potentially in logic? And we just have to really hope that he decides to go to Ginzo once again to get all those upper Ginzo pickups. But it looks like instead he's going to go down to Blackroot, while Shayfe is going to be bashing off of these lanterns, heading up towards Feather. And yeah, this is a pretty comfy pathing here for Shayfe.
Yeah, he's skipping pickups left, right, and center. No problem for him. Sloaters can continue to try to use Sense to kind of pick up some things to see where they could be. There's not much more, honestly. Dash here would be really nice for Sloaters, but the more times he's continuing to look, Shayfe is just having this beeline check for all these left side trees that he needs to finish. Is actually going to opt, I think, yes, he's going to opt to do Sorrow first before getting the glide tree. This is kind of a nice pathing where you essentially do a top down of the left side pathing there. I kind of like this.
Yeah, this is a pretty smart play. He's going to need to come up here and return down towards the feather tree later. So may as well just get this out of the way now. I like this play. And he's intentionally going to take some damage there on those spikes, as he's going to set up to do a Terra Break when he takes damage to kill himself on these spikes. After reloading on that save there by that breakable floor, he's able to just sail right through it like it never existed. And he's going to come over here towards the charge jump tree.
Yep, that is no Zem break that he showcased earlier. That is just the classic tear break that we're all very much used to, and also use in the all skills categories as well. And so he's trying to use this frog. He doesn't have stomp, so he's gonna have to go ahead and use this frog to get that floor broken for him. But very nice. Sloaters is using Sense the right way. He's kind of going to main areas, seeing if anything color change happens, and then alt Rs, which I like that way of kind of using Sense to kind of go through here. He's teleporting to Swamp, so we'll have to see if he heads back up. This might be a nice no evil. He's not, sadly.
Oh.
But yeah, we'll see kind of where he goes from here, what he can do. There's some, I think, some interesting areas, maybe back in the spider sack area that he did not check when he was here initially. Meanwhile, Shayfe is heading right through, done with Sorrow, and again, this kind of nice pathing has allowed for him to not need the teleporter. It can use another frog to just go ahead and break those Kuro rocks and head on over, get 9 out of 10 trees.
Yeah, very nice pathing there from Shayfe. Like we were saying, that just goes to show you his level of experience with the Ori Rando, knowing that he's going to come down here anyway. Going to collect this as his 9th tree, even though it's a little small to be a tree and it looks more like a feather. But that's okay. After that, looks like Shayfe is going to go immediately into Misty. He's going to be able to skip pretty much everything in Misty besides the required pickups there. And then he's going to be pretty much good to go for the final escape. This is looking really like Shayfe's race to lose.
No, yeah, you definitely said it. And, you know, I think both runners had some really, really nice play in the early/mid game. It was just Shayfe had the ability to continue up Ginzo a little more than Sloaters did and was able to just get everything he needed to finish out. And speaking of, Sloaters is going back. He's going back into Ginzo, so he will probably get all 3 pickups that well, actually, interestingly enough, Shayfe had to do a charge flame redirect on the shot to break that floor to give him glide. So that's kind of an interesting one. We'll see if Sloaters skips that one. Even if he does, he'll get Bash and Sunstone, which are 2 just monumental items here for our runner. So definitely be nice to have both of those at least.
Yeah, and Sloaters, Sloaters will change colors when he is close to that glide pickup, since he does have Sense. So he will know that something is there. And we'll have to see if he decides to go for a similar Sea Flame redirect or not. He's going to check both of these pickups here and grab an ability cell for his troubles. Meanwhile, Shayfe coming down here, breezing his way through Misty, going to make it through all the way to his climb tree. This will be tree number 10 for Shayfe, and he is good to go for the final escape. Look at that, circling his mouse, all happy. I'm sure he's feeling good about how he played that seed.
I can't think of anything incredibly glaring. Everything just kind of worked out really nicely for Shayfe. The routing specifically for Ginzo. Ginzo called him, they called both runners really early, and Shayfe said, "Nah, I'm gonna finish up this kind of right side area before I decide going to the dungeon." And it worked out in which he could get a 6th tree at the Ginzo area. So it just kind of all really worked out. So it's just, oh man, such good play from Shayfe here. Sloaters is doing some charge flame redirects. He doesn't need one for the vertical wall. Oh, but gets one anyway. Oh yes, he does. He gets it. Nicely done.
Very good job.
Yeah, he'll get that glide, and then he'll get Bash and the Sunstone up here very, very shortly.
Yeah, and he does see Ori change colors here over towards this other pickup. He's going to go for a 2nd Charge Flame redirect, although we know, I believe both of the progression pickups are above where he's currently at. But he gets the Sea Flame redirect without too much trouble, just going to collect some experience. But now he knows that the 2 important pickups are going to be above here. He's going to collect both his Sunstone as well as Bash here in just a moment. Yeah, he still sees that Ori is a different color, so he's gonna go back and get that Bash. He does take a bit of a death, but no big deal. He plays a safety save. And on the left side of the screen, Shayfe is entering Horu. We're gonna see if he chooses violence or if he decides to just go for a very quick door warp to the final escape. He does opt for the door warp. See if he can get it. First try. No, gonna need to try it again. No big deal. It's a pretty quick trick. It is pretty tight in terms of execution. But Shayfe, being a veteran of the game, he'll be able to get it before too long. There he goes.
They actually patched out door warp for those first 2 attempts, but they put it back in. So yeah, there you go. Technical first try there from Shayfe. Will be a very nice escape. Shouldn't have any problems here. Clean water as well, so he can take a damage boost if he wishes to. I feel like Shayfe's gotta feel like he played this one really nicely as well. He's got to be happy about this. As we get a nice 70A experience on that final escape.
Yeah, he's going to be making his way through the final escape here. Like you said, should be no problems with Bash and Grenade, as well as Charge Jump. There's pretty much nothing standing in his way from the escape here. It's going to kind of take a miracle here for Sloaters to make this up. Shayfe might need to go make dinner, do a few other things, then come back and finish off the seed if Sloaters is going to want to take this victory. But yeah, Sloaters deciding to come over here with his newly found Bash over into Valley Entry.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, we only have one room separating Shayfe from victory here. This final vertical room, which he does not have grenade jump, sadly, but can use a nice bash off of some rocks. And he is through. Shayfe is done. GG. Very nice. A 43 time with no dash is a pretty big one here. So it's just a perfect performance. I believe Shayfe will go on to face Apple Tree in the third round of the upper brackets, and Sloaters will go off to face I believe it's Grim. They kind of had the way the kind of double elimination works is that the opponent teammates played each other essentially.
Yeah. So congrats to Shayfe on taking the W today. I think he really did a great job playing this seed. We'll be able to pick his brain here in a moment after he finishes up the seed. I imagine he'll come in for a quick interview and talk about his performance here. And while he's doing that, we have Sloaters on the right side making his way. He's going to actually check these pickups that Shayfe did not when he was coming through. So we'll be able to get an idea of what Shayfe decided to skip over. Probably nothing monumental.
There's something that I think the 2 big things here is stomping or climb would be very nice. You wouldn't have to do that Frankie lore into lower blacker. So if either one of these 2 are over here, that would just be a nice little addition here to kind of cap off, which I still think Sloaters played this seed very, very well. Just the Ginzo play that had everything we needed was just, oh my goodness, that was wild.
Indeed. The one Ginzo play, that really, a small decision like that to, for example, just leave Ginzo after getting your tree, can definitely make or break a race. But actually, Sloaters was able to get the fast stompless setup. He is unable to grab that ability cell, which looked like Ori was changing colors. You can see the little replay there on the right side of your screen. Just barely unable to get it.
Maybe that was Stomp. We'll never tell. Oh, man. I'll have to wait and see. He only has now 2 more trees, and he does have Glide. Same with Shayfe, so shouldn't have a troublesome Sorrow. May have to do another Terror Break. Or oh, it looks like he's going back. He says, oh, I'm sensing that. I want to see what that was. Maybe that's Stomp. It could be. I like it.
And speaking of Shayfe, we actually have him on deck. We're going to bring him in for a quick interview. There he is, Shayfe. GG's, excellently done. How are you feeling after that seed?
I'm feeling like I routed that fairly well. I made the reads that I wanted to, particularly when I got double jump to give access into swamp. I wasn't sure about the swim. I was worried about Keystones and Ginzo. As you probably saw me circling a few times. So I wanted to do some extra checks on the outside of Ginzo. Got a Keystone there, which I'm in a way kind of glad I did, because there's only one Keystone on the way to the door. And once I got to Bash Tree, like I hate coming back to Ginzo with no no left side access. Only to know later on with a clue that the Sunstone is there, and I knew that with such an early water vein there was probably a skills there, so went up, got fortunate with that Charge Flame redirect. I was not going to give many attempts to that. That's a really, really tough redirect to do. It's actually tougher than the one that I was struggling with. And yeah, I got bash afterwards, and I was like, okay, well, this seed's over as far as I'm concerned, and just hit trees. And yeah, overall, I think the thoroughness in a seed like this with no wall interaction is a fairly decent play to make. And overall, I'm pretty happy with my performance. I was nervous coming in, and kind of lacking a bit of confidence in the previous 2 weeks after the prelims, but it's starting to come together again for me now.
Nice, that's great to hear. Yeah, I guess speaking of, like, kind of routing that seed where you have some really nice skill sets, but lacking the wall interaction, like where it's kind of at this point, like, oh, it's just kind of, we take it for granted. Like, how are you kind of approaching kind of the weird kind of tricks you had to do here and there, and kind of weird routing as well without having any wall interaction?
Yeah, the extra digging with some of the zombies, like the one to the left of the teleporter, was basically like, okay, well, what if I get bash nade and there's wall interactions there or something, right? So it's a matter of, by the time you get right side, if you haven't found anything, you either need to get to a point where you're willing to commit going without it, or you continue digging for it. Thankfully, it was in the crushers on the way to double jump, so it wasn't that big a deal, but I probably wouldn't have been looking for wall interaction after that if I hadn't found it there.
Yeah. So, Shayfe, I want to know when do you think you hit go mode? Do you think it was after you were in Upper Ginzo, or when did you feel comfortable skipping most things?
I had no left side access. I had no teleporter. I had no stomp. I had no grenade jumps. Nothing. So it was going to be a full clear of right side until I found left side access. And once I had bash, like regardless of whether or not I got glide there with that sea flame redirect, that would have been go mode for me, because double jump, triple jump Dorito caves, not a big problem for me. Have both dungeon keys at that point, so bash was the signal for me to just completely stop, especially with how many ability points there were in that seed, just to be able to like immediately go to ultra defense at grenade tree on the reverse Frankie walk. It was like, yeah, this is completely fine. I'm not going to have any problems with this seed.
Yeah, speaking of ability points, Sloaters manages to get up to Sense and currently still has 9 ability points. It's absolutely wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was an ability stacked thing, especially when you get Spirit Light efficiency relatively early like that. You can stack it with the one on the trees. So I'm not too surprised to see people going Sense on that one, but I'm not really a big fan of Sense unless I am extremely skill-starved and have a whole bunch of satellite checks to do. And I wasn't at that point yet, so comfortable going with Ultra.
Yeah, and Sense was actually pulling out some nice stops here for Sloaters. He found both Wind Restored in the fast Ompus area, which was allowed him to just simply glide up into Sorrow, as well as climb. Okay. So he doesn't need to do the Frankie lure anymore. He found that in Misty, the first pickup. So Sloaters having a nice, very comfortable end here with the grenade jumps. And yeah, Shayfe, I gotta just say, the routing from not just you, I mean both runners, but you as well, like had some perfect routing there. I know you're gonna watch this back. Essentially, just kind of the main thing that kind of separated you two was the Sloaters actually did dip into Ginzo early, very early, but had to alt R because he did have wall interaction to get to the second half.
Yeah, that was part of my concern too. It was a Keystone starved early seed. I mean, even doing the full swim, like I got 1 Keystone out of that and then 1 Keystone in Outer Swamp. So that was the reason I put off Ginzo, in addition to not having wall interaction for the second half. Like if I needed to go grab the teleporter and maybe go up into Ginzo Escape, like there's no way to do that, right, without wall interaction. So it was one of those things that was kind of percolating at the back of my mind, and the reason why I put off Ginzo, even though I had a suspicion progression was going to be there, I just wasn't comfortable going there yet with such a Keystone starved beginning. I wanted to make sure I could get everything else right side first.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Any other questions you might have, Ron?
Yeah, Shayfe, what were you thinking when you were entering Grotto, but we saw a lot of experience on some of those pickups, like some of those plants had over 100 experience, and I believe Double Jump Tree had like 200 or something experience.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, did that send any red flags your way that maybe this was supposed to be a little later in logic?
I have no... Well, thanks, Sigma, by the way. I didn't check that. I have no idea, honestly. Like, to me, it seems like the logical play is just go through Spider Sack with no wall interaction, and then go around Outer Swamp, or do what I did with the respawn iframes. Go into Grotto and then get wall jump there. So it's like, it's kind of end game experience for a rather like early mid game check. And that kind of threw me off a little bit for sure, but I didn't let it distract me too much. I was just like, okay, I got wall jump now, where do I go?
Yeah, good point.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And Shayfe, with this victory, you move on to the round of 3 in the upper brackets. You're going to face Apple Tree. Any thoughts, just kind of both on that matchup and continuing on with your bracket, journey?
Well, in general, my goal is to go above 500, so I'm one step there, right? I got 2 losses that I can take, so one more win, I'll be at 500, and then one more after that, I'll hit my goal for brackets. So I'm kind of, like, as much as this is just kind of having fun with a whole bunch of friends, I do kind of want to play this a bit competitively as well, so definitely going to be putting in the practice. We saw Apple sort of semi-upset Grim. No discredit to Apple whatsoever. She's a talented player as well, but Grim was definitely the favorite in that match, and one pickup check was the difference in that race. So you can't really take any opponent for granted, regardless of where they are in terms of seeding, and especially just because everybody is a good runner. And so I'm going to be working on playing aggressive, working on making sure that I can do minimal final escapes and, some stupid strats in Sorrow or something like that, so that I can play aggressive. I can afford myself the opportunity to make sure that I can, try and pad a lead if possible. And if I need to go digging later on a match, then I'll go ahead and I'll do that. But for sure, not taking any opponent here for granted. Still got a lot of practice to do.
Sounds good. We look forward to your future matches. You played really well here, so cannot wait.
Agreed. As we see on our right side of the match, back to the race, Sloaters is going to be approaching his grenade tree. Looks like that's his last tree. That'll be number 10. He's going to be able to head over to the final escape, collecting a keystone there on that tree. He is very close to being finishing up here with the seed. He will be taking second place today. Like we said, he'll be going into the lower bracket to face off against Grimelios. But still, a nice showing from Sloaters.
Yeah, I know Sloaters from a lot of SM Rando when I used to watch it back in the days, and I know he does main category runs, and he's a talented player. Like, there was definitely some nerves, even though, like, this is my main game compared to him just kind of coming in here having fun, I guess. But he's talented at Metroidvanias in general and at Randomizer, so, like, coming into this match, I definitely was thinking he had a pretty decent shot, especially if I got randoed or if my execution wasn't on point. And it looks like, he was competing pretty well based on what I'm seeing here. His movement's pretty clean.
Definitely was. Had some kind of interesting movement again with that charge jump, especially kind of in the Spider Sack area. It's kind of hard when you don't have wall interaction there.
God, I hate that path so much.
Yeah, it was very nice. You got it first try. I was really nicely done. Some people still, actually, I don't know if some people didn't know actually that was possible. It's definitely very, very finicky. Looks like Sloaters. Oh, okay. I was like, is he doing kinetic storage? No, he was just trying to get the nice bash off there. So there you go. He's gonna get through and should have a nice, easy final escape as well.
This is a comfy skill set. I see you blessed the seed clean. I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem. Kind of in a weird logical sense, it looks like we're getting word that the kind of way that everything looked up was Ginzo was the play just super early, wanted us to get some bash and enough energy to make it to Grotto via the Death Gauntlet area with bash and the 4 energy. So that's kind of an interesting way everything kind of paid out, because again, we had wall interaction in Grotto as well as the other form, Climb, being stomp blocked in Misty.
That's so weird because, I mean, like, it's got to be in logic to drop down through the Moon Grotto laser just after. Maybe the expectation is if you accidentally miss the Swamp TP or something, you have no way to get back up. I don't know. That's a bit weird to me.
Yeah, for sure it is.
Yeah, and we see Sloaters heading into the final escape here. He's going to be doing some door warp attempts. But looks like the door warp got patched out here for a couple attempts. But maybe the devs will decide to put it back in. Totally not stealing Clean's joke or anything from earlier.
It's fine. It takes some time for the people to say, oh, I want to put the door warp back into the game. He can also choose if he wants to have fun with the mini boss. But no, they patched it. Very nice. It's back in the game. Door warp is here again, and so Sloater's going to continue through with this final escape. And yeah, he's going to close out here with a hope that he does well here. Should a potential sub-hour. Very nicely done. Again, it's the unfortunate routing there from Sloater's having to double dip into Ginzo there. Essentially costed him here. But, other than that, very nicely played throughout.
Yeah, having Ginzo, especially upper Ginzo, be your required progression, not something you see every day. So, despite that, Sloater still played it very well. After going back in for that double dip, was able to follow in Shayfe's footsteps pretty comfortably. So, still very well done by Sloater.
And also use, there you go, and they use that climb pick that we found to some advantage here. You can also do the final grenade jump in the room here, so if he wishes to. Still don't know where, we never figured out where dash or stomp were, but those are unnecessary, optional. Looks like he's gonna be, oh my goodness, he's double bashing a fish. Okay, I like, well, or maybe, oh, okay, that's an interesting play. He wanted to just essentially, oh no, gets killed by Curl, but essentially wanted to use that fish to essentially double bash past that cutscene there. He does have charge up and glide, so you can do it the kind of normal way in the both the all skills route and the other way that we have there. Potentially realizing that he didn't have dash for the fish strats, and says, "Oh wait, I actually can't do this," and just wanted to cook the fish in the fire.
Very true. Like we saw Jay Halson in chat saying, the true final boss of Randomizer is remembering what skills you have. So very understandable for Sloaters to go for potentially something that he is unable to do if he wanted to rocket jump off that fish, or remembering that he can just sea jump and glide over there. We'll see what he decides to do here. Yep, just going for charge jump glide. A little bit easier than using the fish, but maybe he just wanted to show off. Who knows?
That is a good possibility here. We'll see if he opts for this final grenade jump here. Skips the first half of this cutscene. There we go. Uses the rocks here that are falling to bash up into the correct position on this wall here. Grenade jump looks good. GG to Sloaters, finishing up here with a sub-hour time.
Very nicely done. Love to see a nice grenade jump there at the end to help cut down a little bit of that final cutscene. We do see Ori kind of appearing in two places at once.
We're used to that. It's all fine. As we said at the beginning of this race as well, this is we have one more match in the second round of a bracket that will be happening tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Poogle Racer versus Sirius. So that'll be a fun one as well. We also have two more matches tomorrow on Monday. We have in the lower bracket, Accurate Stingray versus Sarah Barron, happening at 6 p.m. Eastern, as well as Ernest versus Rufus, happening at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's all for the future of Ori. As for this one, we'll see if Sloaters will like to join us for a quick post-game interview as well.
Yeah, we got plenty more of Ori coming up for you in this next week, as well as some matches on the other days. Tuesday we got a match, Wednesday we got 3 matches. Definitely stay tuned for all of that. Got plenty of content for you, as we're still pretty early on in this bracket stage. Got a lot of good matches coming up on the docket for you.
We'll just take another quick second here, see if the Sloaters would like to join us real quick.
Of course, it's absolutely okay if the runner decides to not come in for an interview. We always understand, after coming in second, definitely understand if you just want to, take a minute and, not bother coming in and chatting. We'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah, and even while this is rest of Ori for today, we also have some Ocarina of Time randomizer happening on the main SpeedGaming channel up at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you wish to see that, I believe there's also a Link to the Past randomizer happening right now over on SpeedGaming 5. If you wish to see that, so more stuff on SpeedGaming happening as well. If you are looking to fill your rando needs.
Yeah, plenty of good stuff left to come. And we just did get word that Sloaters will be popping in here for a quick interview. He's getting set up for that here in just a moment. So we'll be able to chat with him and get a feel for what he was thinking throughout today's race.
You know what we need here is that we need an interesting dino fact.
Oh, goodness, do we?
Maybe.
Well,
we have to.
Oh,
we
we
have to
do
prep
just
for
see
that?
Sloaters on deck. Maybe,
We'll have to wait
maybe
for
if we
that
have time
afterwards.
later. Let's go ahead and get Sloaters in here for a quick interview. There's the man. Sloaters, how are you feeling after that race?
I mean, I feel okay. It was, it wasn't a crazy seat or anything, but, it went about as expected, so no surprises.
You were putting on a good show. Despite taking second place today, we were very impressed with how you were able to do your routing and your execution. So GG's, very well done on your end. You will be facing off against Grimelios in the lower bracket whenever you decide to schedule your race. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to that as well. Clean, do you have any questions for Sloaters?
I guess I'll go ahead and ask kind of a similar one for Shayfe, kind of riding that in the early game with just no wall interaction. We have such a nice kind of skill set to move throughout the game, but at some point, even the simple stuff such as wall interaction or a nice energy cell here and there kind of helps like measures to make this whole seed a nice big pleasure here. So kind of overall, like that early game, the seed kind of opening up, how'd you feel with that skill set?
I mean, it's definitely not one I'm used to or super strong with, I'd say. I mean, I'm okay with the way I routed it. I was kind of trying to find like weird things to do that I thought maybe Shayfe wouldn't do to try to, get some good item out of it and try to get some time on that. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of the charge jump starts just because it feels like we've had a ton of those, especially in the preliminaries. But
Agreed.
There's been a lot.
That's how it goes sometimes. So, Sloaters, we have to ask about Upper Ginzo. When did it come into your mind that potentially progression might be hiding above the Bash Tree?
At some point, I mean, it wasn't like right away after getting wall jump, but after I was like searching around for a while, the thought kind of came to me, and I was just kind of banking on that not being the play because having to double dip that would be pretty bad, and I was kind of assuming that Shayfe wouldn't jump into Jinzo right away, and he might have been able to do the upper part like on the first time through. So I was just kind of hoping that wasn't the thing to do. So even after I kind of realized that, I was still putting it off for a little bit.
That makes sense.
You made a good call. That's exactly how I played it. I went down in the grotto and got clean water, so I went to swamp after getting wall jump there in the crushers. So good read on your part.
Yeah, definitely could have been an interesting scenario if it wasn't an upper Ginzo, but maybe like on the actual Bash Tree itself. There's a lot of ways. Rando, but again, still really well played overall. It's kind of overall like I know you've kind of been around the Ori randomizer, especially in the 2018 tourney. So kind of overall, how are you feeling just about tournament performance so far, and what you might be looking to do in the lower bracket?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty happy with how I'm doing so far. I'm definitely see I've improved a bit since the start of the tournament. Next match versus Grim, that's an opponent I did not want to see in the lower bracket. It's going to be a tough one for sure. I definitely don't consider myself the favorite in that. I mean, I'm having fun. I see like my average times coming down with these with the more I play. So, either way, I'm looking forward to finishing out the tournament, to playing some more after the tournament with everything I've learned.
Nice.
Yeah, we really like that. All right, I think that will do it here for this match. We'd like to also thank our truckers, Fox Diamond and Rin, for helping feeding us information, as well as Apple Tree for the restreaming. Couldn't do this without you guys, so thank you very much. And thank you, Ram, for commentating with me.
Yeah, thanks, Clean. I had a fun time, and I hope all of our viewers as well enjoyed today's race. Like we said, we'll be back tomorrow. We got 3 matches scheduled for you. You don't want to miss those. Gonna be a good show. So with that, we'll go ahead and call it here for tonight. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care.
GG, Sloaters. Good luck, man.
GG.